Yes, thank you. So in terms of a delay, my organisation would support a delay, providing there is something that is done in the meantime before these changes coming out. So you need to deal with, or rather HMRC needs to deal with the tax avoidance schemes that we're seeing out there at the moment. There are lots of offshore schemes that are targeting contractors aggressively at the moment, promising them increased income that is actually impossible to achieve within UK tax law. HMRC is very well aware of these, and they say they are taking action, but it is just not enough. And we need action to be taken to prevent contractors being sucked into these schemes. And they will get large tax bills. It's not too different to the loan charge fiasco that we've just kind of experienced. So I would plea for there to be proper enforcement action on those avoidance schemes.
Yeah, we would say absolutely that it should be delayed. For all sorts of reasons. I mean, we would actually advocate for abandoning the policy altogether, but from where we are right now, a delay would be a very welcome step forward. Not least because we haven't got proper answers to issues around employment status that were indeed raised in the Matthew Taylor review. There is the problem of umbrella non-compliance. Many umbrellas, I should say, are entirely compliant, but they're competing against ones that aren't, and they are pushing people into what's called disguised remuneration schemes. This is how we ended up with the loan charge, partly. R35 initially came out in the year 2000 and pushed people, who should have known better, probably many of them, but it did push people into these sort of arrangements. Then you have this issue. And then there's just the problem of, notwithstanding the Chancellor's speech over the weekend, which was reported in the FT this morning, what the Chancellor's really saying there is he's acknowledging that this is going to be really complicated and difficult for businesses to comply with, which is why he's beginning to suggest things like, well, we won't be too heavy-handed. But businesses really need certainty. So what he should say is, this is a bit messy. We haven't properly thought it through yet. There's a review which is still outstanding. We're waiting for that to report. There's going to be further tweaks, we're told by the Chancellor in the FT today. So how long will businesses have to cope with these new rules? Well, not very long at all. And the other big advantage, sorry to take up all the time, is if there was a 12-month delay, it would give us a chance to look at the policy again, because like I think everyone else here, we completely agree that everyone should pay the right amount of tax. We are not here to advocate for tax avoidance or people sort of getting around the rules which are in place. But we believe that there are better ways to do it than this. This policy is going to do more harm than good. That is our opinion.
Monks, are you done?
Only on that very last point, just what's the better way?
Well, IPSE developed something called a freelancer limited company with EY a few years back. It was designed specifically to target this problem of R35, and the idea would be that you'd have a limited company like any other, but it would be tailored to freelancers, and it would be transparent, so people would say they're a freelancer. Once you've created that and people are inside that bracket, you can then come up with tax rules which everyone is broadly happy with. The problem that we have right now is that what the rules currently are saying is, if you fit this type of arrangement and the vagaries of mutuality or obligation apply or don't comply, then it's perfectly fine for you to pay tax in this way. But if we change that a little bit in ways that no one really understands, then you must pay tax in this way. It would be better to say people who are contracting are valuable to our economy, but we may need to adjust how they're paying tax because we might not have got that quite right. So let's identify who they are and apply a more transparent and fair tax regime to it.
Okay, Lord Roberto.
Well, I'm fascinated with this because really at the core of it all is that it is, I think, too hurried, is what you're all saying in another way, and that the detail has not been properly evaluated and not been discussed. Well, what is preventing HMRC, God forbid, preventing them from actually delaying?
Very good question.
Is it potential revenue loss?
I think that's my opinion. I think it's the revenue side of things. And just on that, if I may, HMRC has stated that the public sector reforms were successful and delivered an increase in compliance by virtue of the fact that there were more payroll taxes taken. Now, I argue that does not demonstrate an increase in compliance. It just demonstrates an increase in people being put on payroll, perhaps incorrectly. So I dispute that particular figure. But yeah, why don't they delay? Probably the revenue side of things.
Really?
Yeah.
Are we in that need for a few months?
Well, when you look at the cost to business and the cost to individuals,
That's what I'm saying. No, are we being, not the individuals, the government. Are we in that need? Well, I find it very ill thought through.